Yeah. No, so I think the bar is on the floor when it comes to performance. I think that most people, if you ask them like, "Hey, do you have any free time?" they would just say no. And you'd be like, "Okay, cool." And then if you gave them an extra hour, you just be like, "Okay, you have a 25-hour day, right?" Um, they would just squander it. It would actually not make any difference to their quality of life. If you gave them like 30 hours, they would just like literally the time would just expand to fit what you have, right? And so um once I made that discovery, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Um if you just focus for an hour or 2 hours every day, like you will zoom past everybody. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like I just like even at a high performance place like Amazon, like you have like just doing 2 hours on like one thing. The average knowledge worker like literally checks their email every 6 minutes. Like they're going fishing. They're looking for things to take their attention. And you have a phone and you could just sit there and scroll or like watch YouTube videos. And so in this like really, really distracted world, if you can just literally focus, you will just blow past everybody. The other observation that I made was essentially like there is a good, I call it my caviar hours, but basically, you have energy over the course of the day. It's not evenly distributed. And so for me, I'm a morning person. I used to be when I was younger. I used to be a night person. But, those first couple hours in the morning, like those are my unstoppable hours. It's just like if you literally just turn off your phone and Slack and Reddit and YouTube and Instagram and everything, and just for those 2 hours do the thing that would be the highest leverage thing for you, then you can go into the office and then cool, you have to go to a status meeting. Like you don't need like like a version of Steve during a meeting. You can have like the B or C low energy version. Like it's going to be the same outcome, right? And so ultimately, if you just like understand where your energy level is and then just realize that most people are just crazy distracted, and literally if you just gave them extra time it wouldn't make a difference. You do have the time. You have the time to do everything. I think, you know no, like all of these time constrained people, if you were like, "Hey, okay, well, if you don't have enough time, like do you have enough time to wipe your butt?" It's like, yeah, you have enough time to wipe your butt, right? Okay, well, if it's important enough for you, then you do have time. And so, like, what are your priorities? If you literally got the time breakdown of what people do over the course of a day and you just tracked it out, like, most people aren't doing anything that matters. They literally aren't. So I have a term trying to make it a thing. It's called a 0 day. It's not like a vulnerability, but basically, like, a 0 day is a day that if it never existed, like if you never got out of bed, if you just stayed in bed for that day, nobody would notice. And I think most people in corporate or wherever they work, like most days are 0 days. And it's not because they're lazy, but because like, there's crunch time at work where you really need to put in a bunch of effort. And then there's like these lull periods, put in the extra effort during the times when you're needed to go. But then like, you're working a salary. And so there are going to be these like, and so during those days, people are just kind of fishing their email or just waiting for something urgent to occur. And, and if you just really ask them like, "Hey, if this day never happened, would anybody in the entire universe notice?" And the answer is like, no, nobody would actually notice. And so if you can just transform a 0 day into a 1 hour or 2 hours of work day for the things that are important for you, you have enough time to do everything that you want to.
The way I did it was, I mean, I guess it's different between us because I didn't have like, family or anything.
Mhm.
But the way I kind of handled it was I would, like I said earlier, I would wake up at maybe 6:30 or 7 a.m. The daily stand-up was at 9:05. So I had to be in my seat by 9:05
Yeah.
when the team all hands shows up and everyone's faces.
That's really hard for developers. 9:05 might as well be 4 in the morning.
Yeah, 9:05 is early for a lot of people. But for me, I was a bit of an early person always. So I was up by 6:30, and I got ready, made my coffee. I had a good 90 minutes of focus time before work even started. and the daily stand-up happened. So I would try to utilize that. That was gold to me, honestly. It was a 90-minute block of time before I had to show my face, be anywhere. And that was some of the best focus time I had. So I would write scripts, I would review edits. I spent months in that 90 minutes. And then I would utilize my lunch break. I would kind of like take slightly extra long lunch breaks. Honestly, like you said, during work, I'm not ashamed to admit that there were times where I just did my stuff. I didn't really have that much to do. So I would just go into the call room and work on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would literally start drafting a script or review an edit. I would do a call with a team member here and there, casually, because again, you're on a salary. No one's timing your exact hours. Sure, they expect you to be there for around 8 hours a day, but there's obviously increases and decreases to that. So I filled in those gaps. Then basically every single day after work, I would spend at least 1 or 2 hours working on YouTube, filming. I would attend coaching calls for the programs I was in as well. Then on the weekend, I would probably devote at least 4 to 6 hours on Saturday and 4 to 6 hours on Sunday working on the content and business, especially when I started to take it more seriously over the past 2 years before I quit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my approach. What did I sacrifice from that? One, my social life was kind of low. Like I didn't really have many friends at the time. I was kind of grinding all the time. That's one. Two, the average American spends between 3 and 6 hours a day consuming content, whether that's on social media, watching TV, watching the news. I cut out almost that entirely. The only content I would consume was like educational YouTube videos on business and podcasts. And I would listen to audiobooks occasionally while I was doing other things. So I cut that out entirely as well. So those are kind of the ways I did it, right? It's like if you cut those things that are kind of useless, you can find the time no matter who you are.
Yeah, and I don't want to characterize it like, I was literally able to. So I did have to make some choices. I played a lot of FIFA. And so I had to cut FIFA out, which was kind of sad. I love sports. I love watching sports, which is why, my job was great. I had to cut NFL out of my life. I'm a big college football guy, so Huskies are going to Camp Randall this year. I was thinking about going, but so I still have my season tickets there, but I had to make some pretty large decisions, and so yeah, you just need to prioritize, right? And so at the end of the day, like I can just watch NFL highlights, and that's enough, and just enough so that I can do my fantasy team. But I'd rather just be a big YouTuber, right? Like that's an easy choice. It is a little sad because like I just really love it, but you just can't do everything in life, right?
You can't do everything. Actually, Ali Abdaal posted a video recently, I don't know if you saw it, where he made this spreadsheet where he actually listed out what the average person does. And even there was a negative balance somehow. It was like there was literally no time. There was no time to add anything. So no wonder people feel stressed and feel like they're overworked. It's because they spend all of their time doing just maintaining their life.
Yeah.
I think another thing I forgot to mention is the average person spends a hell of a lot of time cooking and cleaning and eating.
Yeah.
So most people spend several hours a day just preparing their meals and eating as well, and cleaning up and cooking. So I had already, it wasn't super healthy, but I was eating like kind of like Chipotle all the time.
Yeah,
I
Chipotle hack.
Chipotle hack, kind of like very Hormozy. I had a cleaner coming in. I was just spending a lot of my money on that. So those are the kind of ways I did it. But I agree, sacrifices need to be made. I think most people, if you ask them, do you want to be a big YouTuber or do you want to watch NFL? I think most people would be like, even if I love NFL, I think I would rather have a big brand and follow my passion there.
And I did the same thing for outsourcing stuff. It's just arbitrage. It's just like, okay, you can clean your house, or you can go and work on your business. Which one is high leverage? I think when you come from, especially Asian family, like there's this like it just pains you to open your wallet up to do things like that you could do at home. It's like you take a Chinese person and you're like, what type of food do they actually like? Oh, they actually like an omelet with tomato. But they're not going to go to a restaurant and order the thing that they want. Like they're at a restaurant, so they're going to like order something else. Or they'll stand in line to get a free t-shirt. Do they need a free t-shirt? No. Or like, hey, you have to pay a cleaner. So suppose you have to pay a cleaner like $200 to come to your house. Nothing in business costs $200. Like everything is just like super expensive, right? And so like, or you could be making $2,000 like with the, by launching a new thing. And so like, it's just that math. It's like, it's not logical. It's just emotional.
Yeah.
So like most of it is psychology.
I clearly agree. I don't know if you heard this, but I think Hormozy talked about how there was a time maybe 20 years ago where this fast food joint opened up a free bucket of chicken, and the line was hours. People were waiting hours to get a free bucket of chicken, which costs maybe $10. Right? They valued their time so little that it was below minimum wage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that arbitrage opportunity is incredible. Yeah. I think it's also, a lot of people will tell me when I tell them, hey, you should be outsourcing pretty much all of your life maintenance things. They'll say, yeah, but I don't have, my side hustle isn't, producing $100, $200 an hour yet. Yeah. So I should continue doing these things. And then when I can actually see that, then I'll do it. But you have to have faith that once you actually have time, you'll be able to get there. You have to trust yourself that you can make this worth and it will be worth it in the end.
I think it's like, you need to bet on yourself. So think about any startup that's taking money. Like, you put the money in, the idea is that you're going to get outsized return on that. They don't do this thing where it's like, okay, well, the startup is only going to grow as much as incoming revenue at that moment. Like, there's no need to put that constraint there, but we do that for ourselves. I'm a part of a bunch of YouTube groups. They'll be like, okay, well, whatever AdSense money I have is my budget for equipment. And I'm just like, why are you unnaturally? Because it makes sense in their head. They're doing this accounting, right? And so, I think at the end of the day, like, you need to bet on yourself. I used to have a personal assistant here, and like a house manager. So like all the laundry and then cleaners and then lawn people and then, and nannies and stuff like that. I have a virtual assistant, so I don't check my email. She checks my email for me. She pays all of my bills. She manages my calendar. We just hop on a call every morning, and then she tells me what I'm doing for that day. That's who you scheduled with. It's from this book, Dan Martell,
Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And I was just like, okay, cool. So now your time is freed up. And then there's actually a wonderful thing, which is like, now you're obligated to go and do some stuff. Now it's like you spent all the money to clear out your time, and now you actually have a time budget. And so that's the thing you don't want to waste. That's the thing where you're just like, hey, like, this is precious. And so once you've actually spent the real money to get back this sort of like virtual currency, which is your focus, there's accountability there. I think that's shameful to waste that time. Those are the poker chips that you purchased, right? So you like took the cash and then you bought the poker chips, and now you spend the poker chips. But like, why wouldn't you invest in the startup that is yourself? Like, you're the only person that you can like absolutely count on, right?
Absolutely. If you're trying to leave the 9-to-5 and build a business, this book has to be on your desk. $100 Million Money Models by Alex Hormozi. The whole $100 Million series genuinely changed the game for me. It helped me nail offer structure, pricing and packaging, and how to pick models that actually scale, not just sound good on paper. I credit this series to helping me build $1 million business in my 20s after leaving my corporate job. Now here's the fun part. I bought 200 copies to give away to listeners who want to start or level up their business. Here's how to get yours. You need to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And on its review, you can say whatever you want, screenshot it, and just email the screenshot to reviews@manazir.org. We'll then send you a link to claim a free copy. We cover the cost of the book, you just cover shipping. That's it. If you want the ultimate resource to get serious about your offer and revenue model, this is it. So just leave a review, screenshot it, and email us. There are only 200 copies available, so do this as fast as possible.